What's going on, guys? So that is us officially finished the mini taper after the mock meet on Monday. So this was the second last workout of the week, which consisted of deadlifts, some close grip bench press, and then just some shoulder assistance work and also some dips assistance. And it went very, very well. It was really, really enjoyable. And actually, I was to work with 245 kilos for 3 triples, and actually it really doesn't feel like that long ago when 245 kilos was actually quite an almost like a big deal to me, in the sense of when I kind of put 245 kilos in the bar. Although I always knew I could do it and was confident in doing it, it did kind of feel like, right, this is starting to get a little bit heavy. So to be doing 3 triples, which felt like nothing, and be doing it at the end of a taper week, it just really goes to kind of show where my strength levels currently lying and are lying, and really not really going to be working under 250 kilos on deadlifts for the next 10 weeks, because 250 kilos is going to be around 80%, give or take, something like that, maybe high 70s. But definitely one thing I'm really trying to work on is patience from the floor, and that's actually kind of what I want to talk about today in today's video. It's about being patient off the floor on the deadlifts, and that I used to always think I had a really, really weak lockout, and I was really weak above the knees, and you see a lot of people kind of tend to think that they're very, very weak above their knees, and that although to do with the joint angles, conventional does technically kind of to do with the knee and the hip joint angles, it is technically kind of more strong off the floor, maybe a little bit harder in lockout, and sumo does tend to be the other way about. But what I actually tend to think is that people aren't necessarily weak above their knees that they think they are, because I used to always think I was weak above the knees, but yet if I'd done like a block pull where the bar was above the knees, I could do like 15% more than my 1RM above my knees. So actually I wasn't necessarily actually weak above the knees, because when I put the bar above my knees and started in an optimal position, I would always be able to lift a lot more. But what was happening is that when I was pulling too fast off the floor, I was yanking it off the floor, and I just was lacking control and stability. And because of that, when I was pulling myself out of position. So when I got to my knees, I was in a very suboptimal position and I couldn't finish a lift. But it wasn't necessarily that I was actually weak from my knees, it was that when I hit my knees, I was in a very suboptimal position because of a lack of control and stability off the floor, if that makes sense. So one thing is, if you actually watch, is that I'm actually been very strong on lockout over the past whole cycle, and that's because I've improved my control and stability from the floor. Therefore my positioning is better, so that when I hit my knees, the positioning of my body is in a much more optimal position, therefore making lift a lot easier to finish. If that makes sense to you? And I feel that that's what a lot of people need to realise, that they're not necessarily weak from their knees, because if they pulled from blocks it would be much stronger. It's that you lack stability and control and a lack of tightness, and that when you pull yourself from the floor, you pull yourself out of positioning, so that when you then get to your knees, you're in a very suboptimal position and you can't finish the lift. And if you're actually just a little bit more patient and improve your control, your stability and your tightness when you hit the knees in a much more optimal position, you're going to have a much better chance of finishing the lift, because you're in an optimal position. And what I actually found did this the most was pause deadlifts, because I paused 2 inches off the floor. So and all my athletes and everyone that I work with pauses 2 inches off the floor. And when you pull and pause 2 inches off the floor, you can't really yank the bar and pull the bar very, very aggressively, because if you do, you're not going to have time to stop 2 inches off the floor. So you need to be a little bit more patient, a little bit more controlled off the bottom to allow yourself to pause 2 inches off the floor. So that is what actually mainly helped me with my lockout, was that not actually improving the lockout strength, but instead improving my positioning, my control, my stability, and then hitting the what I thought was originally a weak point, which wasn't, in a more optimal positioning, was then helped me finish the lift, and then again just finish off with some close grip bench press. So again, guys, hope you enjoyed today's quick video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs this video up. As of next week, that starts the 10-week prep into the British, so that's going to be very, very exciting. I'm going to reset the training maxes, and I'll update you all on that when I know what they are going to be as well. So like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll speak to all of you guys next time.